Yeah, me again. And I just went over the video that I just made, and I guess I will upload it, but I need to cover my own ass here. First thing I want to read you. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution of the United States of America. It's one of my favorite. I've got a t-shirt inside that I believe those words. That we were all created equal. They have these kids. I understand what they're upset about. I mean, yes, throughout history, certain groups, and when you look back far enough, every group, these social justice warriors, I want to smack them. Slavery exists right now. There is human trafficking going on right now. The hell that these men, women, and children are living in right now. It's unimaginable. Unimaginable. Unacceptable. It's not. The fact that it's happening in a world that I live in, that I've brought children into. So, Facebook with its whole, do you know an extremist? Am I an extremist? Do I think any group is better than any other? No. I don't think any human being is better than any other. I don't care if you are royalty, you shit too. These groups that are behind what is happening right now, the ones that have always had the money, the ones that have gone throughout the world and gobbled up all the resources, and the ones, it's been mostly black and brown people that they've stomped all over. Now, my people are Scotch and Irish. William Alexander Burns was my, I don't know how many great, whatever, indentured himself. I know Mom thinks it was before the famine, so early 1800s. But he indentured himself so that my generation, that his future progeny, would be able to have a better life than he had there. My people were in those fields too. Only we weren't treated very well. But when you look throughout time, every group has been persecuted at some time. So, their argument's invalid. No group deserves more special treatment than any other group because first of all, it's still happening. It's still happening. Human trafficking is happening right now. Again, it's unacceptable. I don't know. I know what they want because I have, as I said, I accidentally slipped down the rabbit hole 11 years ago. Well, 10 years ago. When all of that field was underwater. We had water all the way up to the barn there. And my grandmother, who originally owned this house, who grew up in this general area, had never seen it flood this bad. And she was alive for the 37 flood, where, in town they were using canoes. And I was, I've always, when I read articles, I've always read comments. And I was reading these comments, I was like, holy, you're nuts. Talking about that the Army Corps of Engineers had engineered that flood. I was like, what are you talking about? Well, I followed the link. And yes, so much snow equals so much water. There's a formula for that. And they're supposed to let it through the dams. They weren't letting it through the dams. And then you get into other things, which I know is even farther for people to understand, but, there is a document. If you look it up, it's Owning the Weather by the year 2025. I think they've met their deadline. And right now, when you look across, my Telegram feed, holy shit. When you look across the world right now, all throughout Europe, China's lost how many dams? They lost 3 dams in 48 hours. We've got subways underwater. We've got, this is what I'm telling you about food. With all the floods and the fires and the landslides and, volcanoes have been going off for several years now. I don't even know how many are going off right now. And they are screaming climate change. Well, yeah, we've got climate change. We've always had climate change. Climate changes, that's what it does. There are cycles going on, and if you look up grand solar minimum, it'll lead you down a rabbit hole that'll scare the shit out of you, but you really kind of need to. There are some channels for that. Ice Age Farmer, his name is Christian. And then you've got David Dubine over at Adapt 2030. He was a coffee buyer, and he was seeing all the crop losses that were happening, and he's like, what the hell is going on? So he started doing some research, and he found that these cycles are clockwork. And for the next, I think he said until 32, so for the next at least 8 years anyway, but 8 to 12 years, it's going to be pretty chaotic. Now, these people, these groups, knew this was coming, because you got to remember, they're the ones that have all the records. The 50 miles or whatever it is that's underneath the Vatican that have all the occulted, and occulted means hidden. Doesn't mean evil, it means hidden. Well, they've hidden all of this shit from you and I, all of us, useless eaters that they call us. They know all this. That's why they have their, we're in Norway where they have the seed vault, and they've made plans for this time. When you go to the UN and you read their Agenda 21 and their Agenda 2030, and now they're on to 2050, okay, they've made all these plans. And that's groups like, I've mentioned him before. If you go to The Show Me Baby, and it's capital T, capital S, little m, and it's BBY all together, The Show Me Baby. There's a video in my playlist called Programming Posterity. Well, in that video, he actually leaves a link in the description box. He very rarely leaves links. He tells you to go find your own damn links. But in that was one of the papers that he came across back in 2010 or something. And he's like, oh my God, people need to know this. And he and others, he's not the only one, but he and others form these groups, Do Not Comply and Open Carry Texas and a bunch of other groups, trying to draw attention to what these people were doing. They have passed so many laws. That's what my first video talking about how they have corrupted the law to protect themselves against us. If we were to just go back to that document, we're all equal under the law until you let these get in control of it, and that's what's happened. They have protected themselves and their buddies. In fact, our lawmakers don't even write these damn things. They're written by the corporations who are sliding them a little something something to pass the bill. Most of them don't even read it. This has been going on probably since this thing was adopted. In fact, I know it was because, you go back to Adam Smith and some of these other groups. This is why I keep telling people to follow David Martin, Dr. David Martin at David Martin World on YouTube. They have a Activate Humanity website. They've got wethepeople.buzz. I don't know if that's still there or not. But he will tell you the history of how these groups have done this. He's blaming it on, a lot of us are looking at the bankers. And he's like, no, it's not the bankers. He's saying it's the life insurance. And he has a pretty good argument. Doesn't matter. You can see what they've done. And there are people that have tracked what they've done. I tried to introduce you to Catherine Austin Fitts, who's been following the money. I got bats flying above me. Again, it's not doom and gloom. You just need to know what they're trying to do to us. What they're trying to do to our kids. And this doesn't have anything to do with color. It's all of us. We all bleed red. And they want us all to bleed right now. And what happens throughout history, okay, the famine of Ireland and Scotland and that whole area. Historical evidence shows that that was created. They don't want to fight people, especially when they don't have enough people to do the fighting. Because, as I said in my very first video, we don't need to fight each other. Yeah, we're all to blame for this mess. Every last damn one of us is to blame because we weren't paying attention. We've all let it happen. And the only way we're going to fix it is for us all to come together and fix it. It doesn't matter what color you are, where you come from. It's happened to every one of us. We've been watching the Waltons because, it's feel-good stuff. The propaganda. I mean, these people have been using psychology against us since the beginning of time. I mean, that's where the whole science came from, was studying how to manipulate us. And they've gotten really good at it. I mean, I know a lot of people they're still coming to grips with the fact that this is happening, but they've used Hollywood. Hollywood, what is Hollywood? Well, the Druids used wood from a holly tree to make their wands with. Hollywood is about magic and sorcery. And it is sorcery. It is spellcraft. It is hypnotism. And so many people, I did the video where they're talking about people being under a spell. Well, my spoken prayer for the last year has been, let the spell be broken. And it's breaking. And as I see it, the people that are now awakening to see what's been done to them, they're angry. And they've got every right to be angry. I'm angry. I'm incredibly angry. But violence isn't going to get us anywhere. Violence is what they want. Violence is what they're pushing us to. Violence doesn't, it's going to have them clamp down on us. They've got the big toys. And as, Biden, as he basically threatened us, yeah, they've got the big toys. But, and this is what I've been telling my husband and everybody else, should they come to my door and try to force anything upon me, my answer is no. Regardless of what the next step is. Because, okay, well, I'm not going to live in that world. So should it come to that, okay. I refuse to live in that world. But I don't see that happening. There are more of us than there are of them. We wouldn't be seeing this reaction, this panic that we're seeing right now, if that wasn't true. Because according to their plans, the boxcars would have already been rolling. And they're not. There's been monkey wrenches thrown into their plans. And I say, as Show Me Baby says, we all need to be sand upon the machine. We need to break down this machine. And it is barely creeping right now. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. It's not doom and gloom. It's just things are going to get tough. Most of us are tough people. We've just forgotten that. We come from tough stock or we wouldn't be here. Much love.